Hey everybody, welcome to the TMT podcast. This is your host David. With me as always is my good buddy Jamie. Fall is always in season and stuff has happened.
I seem like just
I feel like my intros get more and more lackluster.
That one was basically just a general, this is the stuff I need to say at the start of the podcast. In no particular order.
It was, more or less. It was just, I was just trying to include everything in there I need to say without actually having anything I knew what to say.
It's like it's a business meeting. You're like, okay, this is the stuff we need to discuss. Fall's always in season. Podcast begins.
We made this much product in X amount of time with a derivative, 47%. Why are you saying percentages? Because you guys always want to hear them. I don't know what they mean. They're just there.
You're literally just saying a number. Is it a good number or a bad number? I don't know. 14%.
I'll let you decide. Is it a good or a bad number?
We're up 14% from the negatives.
Yeah.
Business,
so are we still negative?
business.
I don't know. I don't know real numbers. I never learned math. I took business school. In business school, you can get away with a lie if you know how to lie.
And
also, that's true for the rest of life.
Yeah. Everything's about lying. Like politics. Ask Donald Trump.
No, in that case, he's just being an asswipe.
I mean, to be fair, he's probably the most honest ever. He's like, literally, I'm a racist. Blah, blah, blah.
But he also can't keep his mind made up.
Probably. Also true. I heard something really funny about politics, but I've completely forgot about it, so...
Well, I guess we're not really going to hear it then.
That would have made a funny joke, but oh well. But,
Not anymore.
speaking of numbers, did you hear that this week the Ghostbuster trailer officially became the most disliked video on YouTube that isn't a music video?
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think it had that much poor potential. I thought it actually has some potential there. Jeez.
Yeah, it's...
That hated.
Yeah, it's... And when they say not a music video, it's because every music video gets a load of dislikes from the people who don't like that type of music. But literally it means...
Because they've got nothing better to do to go around and hit disliking videos like that.
But,
it's weird.
But the thing is, most people look for music videos. This means that people have looked to find the Ghostbuster trailer, seen it, and then realised they hate it and disliked it.
That's pretty harsh.
And the director of Ghostbusters actually came out and said that the geek culture is a really bad thing. Like, he basically blamed the geek culture for the negative reviews or the negative reactions.
I mean,
so
he's not right, but he's not wrong either. I mean, yeah, every culture has a portion of assholes who are nothing but assholes because they can be. But at the same time, dude, if you're getting this many negative reviews on your film, then chances are it's just not that either.
But also, on top of that, Melissa McCarthy, who's one of the stars of the movie, came out and said that the trailer is very misleading and confusing.
Well, I'm glad that has been cleared up at least. You know, though, here we have a prime example of two ways to react to negative press. You have a director did not do it in the best way by blaming everyone else, and then you had one of the actresses do it in a phenomenal way by saying, all right, this is the problems you guys are having. Here's something I can say that might address those problems to help placate your concerns. And that's a very mature and nice way of handling things.
Yeah. Do you know another trailer that came out this year that people weren't positive to? It was the trailer for the new Star Trek movie because it showed it to be too much of an action adventure. And for people, for fans of Star Trek,
I like that trailer because it had sabotage in it.
Yeah, people literally that's people's problems is they didn't like that it had very gimmicky, like people jumping, gunfiring, jumping around, funny joke. But then most of the stars basically just said that trailer is pretty misleading and pretty not on the mark.
Yeah.
In most cases.
By the way, this is every action scene in the movie.
Yeah. That is what a lot of trailers are. So they're like, they get these people.
Yeah, they show you all the they don't want to show you the, like, introspective moments or the thing like that. They want to show you the highlights. I mean, what they think are the really cool stuff.
I mean, a lot of times with trailers, it's the marketing people. They sit down, look up the footage of the movie that exists.
Yeah, that's true. The directors and the writers and the actors don't have any concern what goes into of a trailer.
And they basically pick scenes. They don't pick scenes in any particular order. And then they don't even... Half the time, they make a dialogue between two people from two different scenes.
That doesn't exist.
You'll have one character be like, hey, what are you doing here? And then another character says, I've just paid a visit to someone. And in the movie, it'll turn out that these two people never even meet.
Yeah.
So,
if Melissa McCarthy said differently, that does give me more faith in that. Director, I'm not going to feel any sympathy for you blaming everyone else, because when your trailer's that much disliked, it's more than just the fact that, yes, a lot of geeks can be assholes.
And I
hate to say it, but in world life today, there are a lot more assholes than I feel like there used to be, or at least people are willing to be assholes more often.
And you know what? I believe the reason for that is it's the internet. Because people can be negative
the internet has a lot to play with
without having to deal with people. Like, I could just say something terrible to someone,
people knowing it's them,
and I'll never have to meet them. It's different. Of course, you're gonna be that way.
Yeah,
it's just the way things work. And if you're going,
unfortunately,
but the thing is, if you're making a movie based on a franchise like Ghostbusters, you've got to pretty basically realize that people like this movie,
and you will also have negative reviews no matter what. I mean, there are people who are strongly against the idea of Lord of the Rings when it first came out.
What, were they thinking nothing could top the animated movie?
Or rather, they were just, I think, same concerns they had when because of the anime movie, that no one could,
I mean, hell,
pull it off.
A lot of times with that is that if there's one form of media...
It did come out well, although the Hobbit movie definitely didn't.
No. But the problem with it is, as soon as there's one version of media for something, like if there's a book, that's it. That's what people's perfect representation. Like,
the original is always considered like the ults thing. Especially when it comes to movies and books.
That's why
or like films made from books.
That's why there needs to be more original movies. Like, people need to come up with ideas, make them, and not base them on anything previously. I mean, look at the first Mission Impossible movie.
I'm going to say, like, you can take inspiration from other things, but I feel like I'm going back and forth a lot here. Yes, we do need I will desperately agree, we could use a lot of new IPs, but I don't see what's wrong with taking... truly original is very difficult to do.
Yeah, nothing's ever perfect.
I'm referring to the principle that...
Adaptation.
Yeah, I'm referring to something someone said, that every story is one of 6 archetypes or whatever told in different ways.
Yeah. Which
is kind of bullshit in the way it's presented, but what it basically means is everything takes a bit of inspiration or shares a bit of something with something else. So, if you take a bit of inspiration, like, let's say you make a movie based off just one concept and it spins around to its own thing, that's safely considered a new IP. And we could use a lot of new IPs in movies. Can you think of a movie this year that's come out that isn't based off a previous project? Like something that's completely... Zootopia.
See? There you go. And you know that's Pixar. No, that's it. That's normal Disney. But the problem with that is they do that one movie. Or they do that. But then they've also... And
then they do Cars 4.
Yeah, and then they do Cars 4, and then they do Finding Dory. And these things aren't going to be bad. I mean,
but it's alright.
But because they already exist, they're going to have more of a reaction to it.
Good for the idea of the market to have some sort of sequel or like a pattern for them. Like, it's good to have. It's important to have a mix, because one of two, either way, can be kind of negative. I mean, video games are a good example of this. Speaking of video games, we were getting seriously oversaturated with sequels and similarities like that, and now we're starting to get some originals mixed in with them, and I feel like we've hit a good mix of both original and newer IPs that have been coming on.
Yeah. We definitely need a mixture of both. Like you get invested in universes, and you don't want to finish watching a movie and then be like, I'm never going to see this character again. But at the same point, you don't want to watch a movie and then be like,
you don't want to watch that same character or that same format 1,200 times in the next 10 years. That's another thing too, is releasing sequels too quickly. I like Marvel's how they've the way they've scheduled things, not because they have a schedule, but because the way they've scheduled things means that you won't see something like a Captain America film twice in the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
You won't see an Avengers film for at least 2 or 3 years every time. Like, they put distance in between.
There's a space. Like, they... Especially the way Marvel does it, is they plan everything out.
There's so much balance to this sort of thing.
Very much.
Unfortunately, creativity is not just... It takes more creativity to run a business successfully. Yeah. Developers need creativity, but for the business itself, there's so much arranging they have to do and prioritizing, and life is hard. I wish I could be 5 again.
See, I'll say
the biggest problem I had was I going to nap over here, or was I going to poop over there?
See, the thing is people see things as a business. Like, a Call of Duty game comes out and it sells amazingly and does well, and then all of a sudden they're making a Call of Duty every year. And in the same way...
Yeah. And because what it is they're trying to capitalize on it for as long as they can.
You build on your success until you destroy the success.
Once again, you have to meet... There's this fine line you have to balance. Again, everything's about balance in life. Turns out the Asians are right.
Yeah.
There's a fine line... sorry, that actually should be Taoists. I messed up. Please don't hate me. There's a fine line between using your success to build more gain and driving it into the ground to the point where it's no longer profitable.
Yeah. I mean...
Call of Duty, I feel, has kind of gone on the driving it too much. And Mario's a series where I would say it teeters the line back and forth an awful lot.
The difference between Mario...
Legend of Zelda, I feel like it changes enough that it just manages to be ahead of building on success.
Yeah, the thing with Mario...
Pokemon definitely builds because it just continually adds so many bloody new ones.
Yeah. I mean... That's the thing with those type of worlds, is it's different. The thing with a Call of Duty game is you're always going to be a man shooting another guy, basically. You're always going to be one side of a battle. You're always going to be in a war.
Yeah, but you have to find some way to make that different.
Yeah.
And they did release a new trailer for the new one, Infinity Warfare. It's changing topics now, where you're actually now fighting in space.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, I'm going to let you... I have a very... specific opinion that I ended up forming from watching this.
Yeah.
But since I know your opinion is mine will differ, so I'm gonna let you go first. What did you think of the new trailer?
I haven't seen it in full. I've seen like bits of it and stuff. I think.
Oh well, you're worthless.
The thing with Call of Duty is a lot of games have always done that bit. Like, I think ever since the first Black Ops, there's always been, like, a small little section in space. Like, there's always been, you're an astronaut in space, watching something, and then there was a space battle in, I think, Advanced Warfare or something. So they've always built on that a bit. If they expand that and take that and do fully that, that'd be interesting. Because the way I see it is, think of Halo Reach. Halo Reach was just a Halo game where you're not the chief. But they made it different because they had that space bit. They had the bit where you're in a spaceship, and that was different for a Halo game. If Call of Duty Infinity War uses the idea of a space battle and fully works it and makes it make sense and works and uses it well, then that'll do them good. That'll be what makes it different to any other Call of Duty game. But if it is similar to how the other Call of Duty games were, in the fact that it was just that one section, then it would just feel a bit gimmicky. It's almost like I'm saying they need to take a risk with the formula by making it different in order to gain a new respect or a new life or a bit of fresh air in the game. Although saying that, I do think that most people will buy it specifically just to get Call of Duty 4 again.
Oh, that's right, because it comes out with an HD or remake version of Modern Warfare, doesn't it?
Which, that completely denies our entire argument about needing new ideas and new IPs. The fact that people will be that excited specifically about a remake or remaster.
Well, remakes are in a very odd and specific place, because... depending on how because some games when they're remade are just much better. It's just how it is.
It is. I mean, the thing with a lot of games is they'll come out at a time, and then you'll play them, and then they just won't... You'll start to notice that it's not as good as it once looked. Like, as soon as you play a game from like 2 or 3 years ago, you'll notice that games look better now. So... in that way, it's nice to play a game and have a little bit of fresh paint on it, and to see it see it be ran by the newest
game
engines.
That you greatly adored.
But saying that, you could technically say that they should remake every game every couple of years because there's always going to be better technology and there's always going to be better servers and better engines.
The thing there is you have to think, is it going to be a game that's worth...
Yeah.
Like, that it was that well received.
Yeah. I mean, eventually there will be a point...
warrant a remake.
There will be a point where they'll start remaking games and people will just be thinking, this is basically the game that I've got like 3 or 4 times, but it just runs a little bit faster.
It just depends on timing a lot too, is the thing.
Exactly.
But anyway, going back to Infinity Warfare, when I watched it, it did get me a bit excited, but not to play Call of Duty. I wanted to go back and play Mass Effect.
You saw space, and it was like it brought back the nostalgia.
Because a lot of you've never played the Mass Effect series, which I consider a great travesty. It's one of my top 10 games of all time. I will say that
going to be remastered or something soon, or meant to be, or is that a new game or something?
There's a new game that's supposed to come out maybe in 2017, maybe.
But
I will say Mass Effect is one of the greatest games I've ever had. And
you do
seeing
talk
that
very
stuff
highly
in space, it made me think of, oh look, you could be. It's just like if you were John Shepard in space or Jane Shepard, and then I thought, wait, I have that game. Why don't I just play that? And then I got excited. And I saw the ship battles and shooting and jumping around, and I was like, I could play Dead Space and Mass Effect just right now.
Oh, that's a good
Except
point.
for the fact I don't have Mass Effect 3 anymore.
That's a good point. Because that's actually a really good point, because sometimes a game can try to capitalize on something that another game successfully perfected, and then it's just no point.
And it just makes you want to go back and play that other game, yeah.
I mean, it's like if I watched a trailer for an Uncharted, I could be like, that's like a male Tomb Raider. I could just play Tomb Raider. That is something I've noticed. Yeah.
They're both games that's based kind of off of Indiana Jones.
Basically,
I think, was Indiana Jones before Tomb Raider? I'm not sure. I could be wrong there. But all 3 of them are very similar. They're franchises with similar prospects.
Yeah. I mean, if they announced a brand new adventure movie of a random guy, you could easily just watch it and say, I would just rather just watch an old Indiana Jones movie, or that's it. Like, there's people who complain about the whole Ghostbusters thing and new movie and it's going to be a travesty. If you really like Ghostbusters enough, you can still go back and watch the old ones and they'll still be a successful movie. But
I know the second one's still on Netflix, and you can always rent or buy the first one.
Yeah. I mean, rewatching and replaying games is generally a lot of fun. It's always nice to go back into a universe that you've already played and you've already been a part of, even if you already know the story.
And just find more things, especially when you're still learning things unlock. Charlie and I have been playing through Dark Souls kind of together, kind of on ourselves, and we've hit the point where I'm back. I'm just about caught up to where I had been before, and he and I are finding things I had no clue about.
Yeah, especially with open world games, it's so much to find in those games.
Yeah, and for example, the Dragon Age series, and both the Dragon Age series and the Mass Effect series, I still bump into things where I'm like, whoa, I had no idea that this was here. I've come across quests and conversations that I had no idea, especially when Mass Effect 3 first came out, because the game at that point was based on all your decisions you made up to that point, so it was so varied.
Oh, wow.
Charlie and I and Jake all had different games. We were playing pretty much different games. It just had the same name. And we were constantly asking each other, so what happened when you did this? And da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because there's just so much variety, and so going back and playing old games sometimes it's great. My dad and I will play Doom 2 together, and I'll tell you, that's having a good time. Just running around just flat out shooting guys. If the old school, who needs to aim up and down?
I mean, hell. I've been replaying Halo 1 Anniversary, the Master Chief Collection version on Legendary to do that. And I had never...
No, I heard you like playing Xbox 360, so I got you ability to play an Xbox One game that plays an Xbox 360, like an Xbox 360 game on Xbox One.
But yeah, I'm playing that, and I'm playing the game a bit differently than I did the previous time that I did it, in the fact that I'm just using different weapons and just using different vehicles. I mean, I never realized...
It's fun to sniff out the secrets in the game.
I never realized until this current playthrough how powerful the shotgun is in that game.
Oh, the shotgun is amazing. The Flood will fear that shotgun.
I mean, yeah, like, not even Flood. Like, I'm taking down gold elites easily, and normally those things would just murder me.
Oh, yeah.
And that's... See, that's the thing, like, being able to go back and explore things. Even same with watching old movies. You'll watch an old movie and you'll notice things that you didn't know before. You'll see references to future things. And that's great. But the thing is, eventually, like, a lot of that stuff you know off the heart, which is why seeing new movies and seeing brand new references, and then even when you watch an old movie and it's got a reference to a movie that you've watched, a different movie, like you watch a brand new movie and it makes a mention and hints or makes a joke about a movie you've seen before, it's still exciting. It's still fun to watch new movies and learn stuff from them. But then also it's fun to go back and watch old movies and just remember.
Pretty much, TLDR, life is all about balance.
Basically. I mean, yeah, it's like, watch new movies when they come out. They're fun, enjoyable, it's great. I mean, I'll say watching movies in theatres with people is an amazing experience. Just to absorb other people's reactions along with yours. But yeah, that's basically it. Like, enjoy the movies that you know and love, but don't stop yourself from watching new movies. Like, find the balance.
Life is about balance. You gotta eat the right foods and do the right exercises.
That's basically it. I feel like we're doing like a PSA.
Yeah. Podcast 11. The best PSA you ever had.
And there's the tagline. Speaking of which, I didn't want to do a spoiler for Civil War, but I thought of something funny.
We're not.
Remember 2 podcasts ago?
You're not sharing it.
When
you're not sharing it whatsoever. Unless you, except after the podcast.
Remember Larry? Remember good old Larry? Yeah. And his smiling and approval?
Not going to do it. Nope. I'm not discussing this with you until the podcast is over. I am dedicated to not ruining things for people. Unlike Chris Evans.
Oh, what did Chris Evans do?
I've probably shared this story before, but back when before Winter Soldier had come out.
Oh, did he tell people about Bucky?
Yeah, she loves Bucky, and she was devastated when he died in Captain America. But the thing is, she didn't know he was in the new one. She didn't know who Winter Soldier was. So I told everyone in my family, all right, look, we are not ruining this for her.
And
then during an interview that Chris Evans gives on the Thor 2 DVD, he flat out says, and so when we learned that Bucky Barnes is Winter Soldier, and I immediately thought, you motherfucker. Because I looked over and she had the most horrified, I'm going to die, this is the worst thing I've ever heard look on in her life. You ruined Winter Soldier for my sister and broke her heart at the same time. Congratulations, Chris.
You son of a bitch, Captain America. I'll get you for this.
You broke a then teenager's heart.
See, that's funny, because to me, like, I always knew that. Like, and I figure a lot of people did. Like, as soon as they revealed that title, most people probably knew that.
Oh yeah, I imagine most people did know, but the thing is, for me, I bet there are still plenty of people who didn't know.
Yeah, but
somehow, I mean, it does seem improbable, but there are people out there who don't know that Batman is Bruce Wayne, who don't know all this stuff, and I like not letting them get spoiled by that.
Yeah. I would genuinely love to go back in to, like, be able to wipe my mind and rewatch movies for the first time. I think that'd be an amazing experience.
That'd be amazing technology.
Imagine doing that now. Like, if you wiped your mind of every Marvel movie, then watched all 13 of them in the order that they came out. Imagine how, like, every movie you'd be like, oh my god, and then it'd top itself and get better, and you'd be like, oh my god, again and again.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Dude, that's why I want the devices for Men in Black. I just wipe my mind and then rewatch a movie.
The little flashers. But what if you flash yourself and you don't remember the thing is, so you keep flashing yourself? Next thing you know, you have the mental age of a 2-day-old.
True. The funniest thing about Men in Black, with the whole memory wipe thing, is the reveal that they have one in the Statue of Liberty.
I never watched Men in Black 3.
No, that was 2.
Never what? I don't remember that part being in Men in Black 2.
I think it's at the very end of 2 when they're like, how are we going to explain a giant worm or something? And they're like, we don't need to. It's like, we wipe your mind.
Oh. The greatest Deus Ex Machina of the Men in Black film.
Yeah. I always loved in Men in Black 1. They showed like that doctor was like a person who kept investigating that type of stuff, and they kept encountering her and doing that every time they meet her. Like, she's at a crime scene, they're like, nope, gonna have to flash her again. So she must have had, like, some real headaches. And real senses of deja vu all the time. She's like, I recognise that man. Weird. Oh, God, my mind's gone dizzy. Where am I? This isn't my bus.
Yeah. How did I get here?
I wonder if they ever feel guilty.
I mean, I feel like Jay does. Kay, not so much.
No, Kay's past guilt. Like, he never felt anything, even when he was young.
Oh, jeez, wow.
That's a spoiler for...
That feels unnecessary.
That's technically a spoiler for Men in Black 3. Because literally he's the exact same person 40 years in the past.
He's a man of character. He knows what he is.
He knows what he is, and he don't care. He'll zap your mind, he'll beat you up, and then he'll zap your mind again.
He just does his job.
Do you think anyone ever used that device in the wrong ways? Like, they'd go up to someone and say, hey, you owe me $20. Give them $20, zap their mind. Hey, you owe me $20. Because eventually,
I imagine, but then
all my money.
I imagine then that the rest of the team wasn't very happy about it.
But then he zaps their minds, and then they're fine. See, that technology...
That actually, you've got a point. Holy cow.
If one person used that technology in the wrong way, he could have been unstoppable. Like, he could literally have just... Like, he could go up to someone, reveal that he's evil, and everything like that, and then zap their mind. Like, he could have, 6 people going to a room to try and arrest him for the evil things he does. He just zaps all their minds, and before you know it, they're all giving him money.
Sure. Give me the monies.
So you know what that is? That should be the next Men in Black movie. Instead of aliens, it's just a rogue agent.
But he needs a motivation though for why he wants to screw over the agency. Maybe because he's unhappy about something.
Maybe. What if he had a family or something like that, and he was never told that they died? They got into an accident or something, and they never informed him because they didn't want him to be compromised. I don't know.
Maybe that could work.
I think so. It'd be really weird for that kind of movie, for the Men in Black movie, to do a very human story, to step away from all the aliens and stuff, and literally have a whole betrayal.
The backdrop.
Yeah, imagine just a normal spy movie, there's a mole undercover and all that, but there's just aliens walking around occasionally. You get the scene from a Die Hard where he's in the vent, but instead it's the talking dog. See, that's the type of risk movies should take.
That could work.
I'm going to say that right now. I would love to see a space movie where they don't focus on the space. Like a sci-fi movie with aliens and stuff, where it's not jokes about the aliens and zooming in on their funny faces, but they're just characters.
It's more on that's more in the backdrop than anything.
Basically, yeah. Occasionally one of the aliens has something, they know something, but they're not the focus. That's almost like Mass Effect in a way, isn't it? Most of the characters...
there's a lot of...
quite a few human characters,
the way you're describing
right?
is kind of confusing.
Okay.
Yeah, there are lots of human characters.
Yeah. So it's like a movie that takes place in space, but most of the focus is on most of the human characters.
I guess that could work.
I could make it work. I mean, I'm announcing now my Kickstarter to make a Men in Black movie that doesn't focus on aliens.
I feel like it'd have to be done very specifically to be good, though.
Yeah, it'd need to. Yeah, you definitely need to have the right touch. But it could work. I say that now, but there's probably movies in the past where people will complain about exactly that.
Probably.
But oh well. If I acknowledge it very early on, I suppose people will be fine.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But, dang it, I had a thought and now it's gone again.
I apologize, it was probably me talking about stuff.
Probably. I mean, yeah, it just happens. I'm not going to say anything there. But, I don't know. I had a thought about something important.
But Dave doesn't know.
And now it's gone.
Did I zap you? Is that what I did?
No, because I can't see anything that you would have.
Maybe you just heard the noise. Wouldn't that?
That wouldn't do anything. It's a mimetic device that relies on visual.
How funny a twist would that be? Is if like someday they just revealed that it wasn't the light that made people forget, it was the noise that it made at the same time. It's like,
I wouldn't find that funny at all, because then there'd be no reason for them to be putting on the sunglasses.
Exactly.
They would be just as memoryless.
You're like, why do you put the sunglasses on? Because it's like it's this whole thing. It's like as soon as they go through training, they're immune to it.
No. Because even though it's an absurd universe, everything specifically works together.
Okay. I don't know. You completely dismissed that, even though that's the kind of twist that I would really find funny, and you'd probably be pissed off about.
I would. If you made a movie and that was a twist, I would find you, and I would just hurt you.
See, if I made a movie, I'd do like The Sixth Sense, but the twist would be that they were both dead the whole time. Because then it'd just be two ghosts talking to each other for the whole movie, and then people are like, oh, that's not that interesting. They're both dead. They can't interact with anything. They can't do anything. They're just ghosts moaning.
Meanwhile, Jamie was like, guys, don't you understand?
Brilliant. Didn't you notice?
I'm clever, aren't I?
Look at the aliens in the background. But they're not the focus. They're just there.
But that's why it's funny. I'm funny, guys.
Have you ever seen movies like that where they just have plot points and never really explain what they are or why they matter? Or like I've heard of movies before where they basically just drop you in a random time zone or random timeline in a random country and never tell you where you are or what's going on.
Okay.
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but like those type of movies exist, and those are very infuriating movies.
I swear they exist.
See, imagine if you watched a movie, but the start of the movie is where any normal movie would be halfway. Like, imagine if you watched a movie and characters were talking to each other the way they would be. Like, they just met and they already were talking to each other like they've known each other for years. Like, if you're watching a movie and you were the outsider, everyone else was caught up to speed, everyone was whatever. Be very disorientating. At least, that's what I think. I'm not saying it's a good idea.
You say so.
I'm not saying it's a good idea to make movies.
I mean, you're kind of losing me here.
I'm kind of losing myself.
I think the problem is you like to experiment too much to the point that it's bad for you.
Honestly, I'm one of those people. Like, some people complain about movies that confuse
who are never
them.
satisfied. That's why.
Nah, but people complain about movies that confuse them or movies that don't explain everything. But I like that. I like a movie that's not a book.
You should
that's
really
not open
play
and
Dark
closed.
Souls. I'm not even joking. You should go play Dark Souls.
That be a... Okay. You keep... I feel like no matter what I'd say, you'd always be saying, go play Dark Souls.
Well, it's a fantastic game.
I'd be like...
Can't really go wrong there.
One day we're going to have a conversation, we're like, man, I'm so tired. And you'll be like, you should play Dark Souls. Like,
you mean we haven't had that conversation already?
Probably. I've just been probably thinking of other stuff.
Sounds like something you would do. Think of other stuff.
I think of stuff all the time. I just don't always say what I'm thinking because...
Oh, do you?
See,
I believe you.
Yeah. One of the main things I experience is just where I'm just standing around waiting for something to happen, and my mind just goes through like 18 different scenarios, and none of them make sense, and none of them are necessary, but I'm just thinking of stuff constantly. I probably think of a concept for a movie every day, but then I just forget about it immediately, and then probably think about it again the next day.
Yeah, that sounds like you. Because you just sort of along for the ride.
Yeah. It's like the same with basically anything. I could think of things that I want to do or could do, or it'd be cool if I did this. I don't do it, and then the next day I think of like a different thing. Like one day I'm going to have the time and, ability to do...
The inclination?
Yeah. I'm going to have the time, and I'm going to have that to put effort into the things that I think about, and then I'll become a supervillain.
I like how you immediately once again assume you're going to be evil.
Dave, you've had conversations with me, right?
I've had lots of conversations with you, yes.
And most of them, but a lot of the things that I say, you wouldn't hear a hero say.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't make you a villain.
It don't make me Superman.
Oh no, but very few heroes are Superman.
To be fair, most versions of Superman aren't even Superman.
Yeah.
Shout out to Smallville. It took him 10 years to fly, and then he did nothing.
Yeah.
Do you think if when Smallville first came out, if that's how they announced it, they're like, in 10 years you'll see this man fly, people would have just thrown their hands up in the air and been
people would have immediately dropped. Yeah, they would have given up. Why do we do this? Why do we always come back to Smallville? What you have an obsession with Smallville?
Smallville broke me. I invested.
You have such an obsession with it. I almost think you do terrible things with yourself because do it.
I invested my time in 6 seasons.
If Jamie ever blows up the world, it's going to be to the music of Smallville.
Probably, yeah. I invested 6 seasons worth of Smallville into my time. Like, I put time into watching that. And the only time Superman flew is when he had black kryptonite. Or when he was evil. It's like, why have
red kryptonite?
Yeah. I almost wanted him to be evil Superman more so I could see him fly. So I could see him do super stuff instead of moan and talk about his girlfriend. Like, he was a lot more of an interesting character when he was evil. Because he actually did things that you want to see Superman do. Even if they tried to say, oh, he's doing it wrong, he's hurting people. Yeah, but Superman should kind of hurt people. If you get what...
Nah.
I'd rather see a Superman that hurts people than just pushes people down. Like...
Oh, he wouldn't be a Superman then.
I know, but, in Smallville, he would use his heat vision to melt a gun and then just push the guy over. That's not what... Superman should fly in and, not kill them, but, take them down, injure them. Half the time it'd be he would just push someone over, turn around, and then the character would have him pinned or something. I think at times it was just unknown people who got superpowers for no reason, who would just best him in a fight until the last second. And half the time, they literally killed themselves. They did something, and then something would kill them, and then he would just stand there with his mouth open.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone hate a show as much as I hear you hate Smallville. And I hear this on a regular basis, by the way, people, so... I hate that in mind while you're listening to Jamie just, vent his rage.
I hate Smallville so much, I stopped watching it after season 6, but I still know the details of every episode, because I just read the Wikipedia for every episode after that.
That doesn't sound like you hate it.
Well, it does, because I didn't put the time into actually watching the show. I just know what happens. I know that
Jamie,
they have Hawkman and he dies.
You would cut your things completely with the show.
another they introduce a dog, make out that it's Crypto, and then take away its superpowers immediately, and then barely use the dog. Don't introduce a dog, say that it's Crypto, and then take away anything that makes it Crypto. I want to see Crypto the super dog. I don't want to just see a dog. What?
I'm just sitting here genuinely enjoying listening to you spew venom. By the way, I still stand by my point. If you say, like, I hate the show so much, I only read about it, not watched it, that still sounds like you were kind of invested in the show. Because if you really hated it, you would just stop watching it, period.
If you watch 6 seasons of something, even if it's utter crap, you're still gonna want to know what happens to these people. I wanted to know that they burnt and died.
No, I can completely give up on a show if it does that.
No. There's this character, Pete Ross. He was like in the first 2 seasons. Then they realised, hey, this character's not interesting. He's not doing anything. So they got rid of him. And then they introduced him for 1 episode in season 7 where they gave him the powers of Plastic Man. Like, if a character is doing nothing for the show, so you get rid of him early on, don't bring him back later on and give him superpowers for no reason. That's not gonna change him. Like, if you've done it...
sounds so angry.
They did a bad job with this character because they gave him nothing to work with, so they get rid of him. And then when they realise they don't have anything going with the show, they bring back a character that they failed the first time. What's the chances that they're going to do well with him the second time? That's like saying to what's his name, the guy who directed Fantastic Four, hey, the first movie was a piece of shit, but have another go.
So much rage. It's just enjoying. I'm genuinely enjoying it.
I hate Smallville with so much of a passion that every other DC program is I don't necessarily like whatever the new ones are, Legend of Tomorrow and Arrow and Flash. I don't necessarily love
and Arrow and Supergirl.
Not Supergirl. I can't stand that one. But I don't necessarily like any of these shows, but I still watch them because they're better than what Smallville was.
I mean, that implies that you kind of like them then, because you're watching them.
It's the thing.
Am I wrong?
I want to watch shows about superheroes, but there isn't much going with that. Like, Daredevil will come out with a season, and I'll watch that, and that'll be amazing. But I'll watch that in one sitting because it's Netflix. And then what can I do with the rest of my time?
But what do you not like about Supergirl?
So much. I don't like that they did all this.
I'm gonna get you going here.
The problem with the problem with Supergirl is the fact that this whole thing. It's built on this thing where it's like, where it's basically meant to be her. Like, she went to go save her cousin to guard him because she's older, but then she got frozen, so now she's younger than him, and he became Superman and did all this good stuff. But there's no version of the superhero. The Superman hasn't existed. We've never seen the Superman do stuff, but they're acknowledging him. Like, they had their version of Jimmy Olsen show up.
Well, that's because the story's called Supergirl, not Superman.
Yeah, but she's like, my cousin does this, my cousin does that. Your cousin doesn't do nothing because you're not telling us that he's done anything. They're not showing us Superman do anything.
She's saying that he does... that's because maybe they don't need to.
Well, they do. If they didn't need to, they could just have Supergirl doing her things without having every 5 minutes her saying, oh, my cousin's Superman, you know. That doesn't mean anything because Superman doesn't exist. Because a character doesn't exist in a show.
He exists off screen.
Yeah, but that's not an existence.
Yes, it is. You can have plenty of powerful characters who exist off screen. It's a great narrative device.
It's a great nothing.
And since we're seeing her from her point of view, because it's pretty much her trying to compare herself to her cousin, it works out.
It's her. Yeah, but it's her saying that I can never be as good as this person that no one's ever seen, but apparently exists.
You just confirmed what I said.
No.
You just confirmed what I said. Because it's her saying it, not him.
Of course he can't say it. He doesn't exist.
Exactly, because it's called fucking Supergirl.
Yeah, but it's... like, basically every villain, like, a lot of villains she goes up against are people that she's like, my cousin fought this guy. Now I will fight him. Oh, I killed him. Strange my cousin couldn't do that. It's like, this character shows up, he's like, I owe you, this is for what your cousin did to me. It's like, What did your cousin do to her? Oh, probably nothing, because he doesn't exist. You're just a character that exists. And because they didn't want to make an origin for you, they just slapped on the whole, oh, he's existed and fought Superman. Superman is their way of basically saying...
Jamie, you want to know how I know you're an adult?
Oh, God.
Because you forgot the rule that seeing isn't necessarily believing, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was too far.
Nah, fine. Dave, I don't have emotions. I just live on rage.
You definitely have emotions, because you are raging so hard right now.
The problem with Supergirl is that it's too much based. There's too much setup on a character that hasn't... it's Supergirl. She's the cousin of Superman, but there's no version of Superman in this universe that we have seen. We've seen, brief mentions and flashes.
See him.
But then why is it so important?
Because
there's no reason for
why is it so important?
They could easily just have made her wake up, not remember why she came to this planet and do her thing. And then, they didn't even need to acknowledge...
No, because then there would have been no reason for her to stay. She would have gone after looking for her cousin again.
There's no reason that she had to have that connection to Superman if this media isn't going to show Superman.
There's no reason for them to show Superman because we're learning all about him from her.
Yeah, but we're not, though, because all we get is the words, my cousin,
we are,
my cousin.
Because according to you, she always says, that my cousin does X and X. That's learning about what the character does. What, do you think that's not learning about the character?
It's in Batman v Superman, about 6 or 7 times, Lex Luthor mentions his father. What's the point of mentioning a character, and a character that's better than the one you're showing us? That's what I'm saying.
How do you know it's better?
Because he's older, he's stronger.
Because evidently that's character... That doesn't mean he's necessarily better because we don't know that he's stronger. We know that he was a major impact on this character's life, and that's why character does Y. Because X development from character... Proceeded character to do Y.
Stop defending Supergirl.
Background explanation. What? I just feel like you're being abnormally hatred for it, for a reason which really doesn't deserve that much hatred.
I watched one episode of it. I watched the pilot episode, and then I watched the crossover they did with Flash.
You only watched one episode.
I don't even have the time to go and read the Wikipedia about it. I don't even know what she gets up to. I watched episode 1.
Now that's hating a show as opposed to what you did with Smallville.
I watched episode 1, which was the pilot, which basically was her putting on a costume, flying around, and then Jimmy Olsen saying to her, your cousin gave me this to give to you. Even though her cousin's Superman and he could have easily flown and gave it to her himself.
Unless he was busy working as Kent Clark at that time because he has a job.
Oh, your cousin too.
Aha!
Yeah, but
But yeah.
No!
Yes!
So yeah, I watched the first episode...
I defied the logic of Jamie.
I watched the first episode of Smallville, which was... Supergirl. I watched the first episode of Supergirl.
You're repeating yourself now! You're just repeating yourself!
And then
in an effort to explain why you're so angry, you're just repeating everything you say.
I feel like you wanted me to get this angry just so I couldn't explain myself anymore. I'm blinded by rage. Right? I can't.
Tongue-tied by rage.
I watch shows like Arrow and Flash because at least I'm seeing the character. I'm seeing a character. I'm not seeing
the character that.
I'm seeing the Green Arrow. I'm seeing the Flash. I'm not seeing. Are you
not seeing Supergirl and Supergirl?
No, I'm seeing a character that keeps comparing herself to a character that we've never seen.
That's because...
She's the shadow of a character that doesn't exist in our eyes. She looks up to a character...
He does exist, we just don't see him!
It's bad storytelling to just keep saying this character's way better than me, but we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on this character. You can't
It is amazing character telling!
No, you
it's
can't...
It's fantastic, because that way you can play on the... You can play on the reader's imaginations of, oh, well, if she can do this really awesome thing, but she thinks she's much better, then he must have been able to do something that much awesomer, and you can allow the reader to build upon it themselves. That is amazing character development.
Yeah, but we're not readers, we're viewers. This is TV.
It's a similar thing. It's meant to be the audience is imbibing this and adding their own, and like every other media, they add on to it. You can still play on a reader or viewer's expectations in the same way that way.
I'm saying for the media of TV, it is better to see than to hear. I would rather see 5 minutes. I'd have rather seen 5 minutes of Superman doing something, and then set up Supergirl looking up to him, than to just have her every 5 minutes talking about how amazing he is.
And I'm saying it works either way, depending on how well it's executed. And in the case of Supergirl, I think it's executed pretty well.
You haven't seen Supergirl? Or have you?
Yes, I have!
Oh. Damn it. I didn't realise that. I was...
You have to admit, that's one of the funniest things I think that's happened this week.
Well, this week, yeah, because this is the only interactive.
Have you?
I've seen what? What have I seen?
Nothing, I was just... Never mind, I was repeating what we said earlier. About you asking me if I'd seen Supergirl.
Yeah. I've seen, I saw that episode, I saw the episode with the Flash. In the episode with the Flash didn't do a thing. He shows up, saves her from a falling building, which she doesn't have to do because she's Supergirl, she can fly. And then he just gets knocked down by every one of her enemies. It's basically, it's the Flash fighting it's the Flash and Supergirl fighting two female supervillains, and they're both kicking Flash's ass. It's basically just look, women are better.
I mean, to be fair, if they can move fast and hit hard enough...
They couldn't move fast, though. One of them shouted and one of them just electrocuted him. That's nothing. He's fought worse than that.
The electricity one makes sense.
No.
Yeah, but the electricity one can mess with his speed force. I can agree that it does seem a bit ridiculous with the other one, but the electricity one I understand.
It's when we got the character The Flash, and in his universe we've seen him fight giant gorillas and people much faster than himself, and I don't know who else, I can't remember.
You must really love the idea of Gorilla Grodd.
I do love Gorilla Grodd. I think he's a really fun character. I think having a character like that and not making it just a mindless brute and making that the intelligence, making that the brain, is a really funny, clever thing. See, that's what I want to say.
You should read more comics then, because Gorilla Grodd is in a lot of comics.
Yeah. That's why I want a Hulk movie where the Hulk isn't just the beast. The Hulk's the talking... I want to see a Hulk movie.
No, because that... No, you can't do that, because the Hulk's character is that he's a beast. As opposed to Grodd, whose character is that he's smart. Similar to Beast's character is that he's smart. You don't change characters like that, you create a new one.
Different... They're immediate... No, in the comics, Hulk speaks in full sentences, and Hulk still has access to...
Not always. Not always. It depends on what year it is and who's writing it.
Yeah, but that's a more... I just want a Hulk that says more than just one-liners. I want a Hulk to have a full conversation as the Hulk.
Wait, are you talking about in the comics or in something else?
I'm talking about in the movies. I want the Hulk to do something other than just...
because I was... I was talking about the comics then.
I'm saying that in some versions of the comics, in some medias, the Hulk is a more intelligent character than he's treated in the movies.
Lately, he has been a bit smarter, but there was a period when he first came out, and for quite a few years afterwards, he was just a giant raging monster. And then he started to get smart again, but then he lost control again, and he became a raging monster again, and now he's kind of back on the upswing.
I think the thing with the movies is every time the Hulk hulks out, he's fueled by rage and nothing else. And then the moment that the situation doesn't require him to be angry,
he's fueled by rage.
Yeah, but that's... I get that's a thing, like the idea that if he needs to be careful, if he gets angry, he'll become this beast. But there still needs to be that point. There's that whole thing where he says that there's the whole thing where he says he can control it, which means there must be an idea that he can turn into the Hulk and not have to be 100% angry the entire time he's the Hulk.
Not necessarily. I mean, you can be angry but still be in control, and his idea of control is more just pointing it in the right direction.
See, I think the way I view the Hulk, or like to view the Hulk, is that it's one person. I think a lot of portrayals of the Hulk is basically just two different personalities.
That's the big thing, is that Hulk and Bruce Banner are not always the same entity. In fact, there was a period where the Hulk and Bruce Banner were physically separate from each other.
Yeah. See, the thing is with the Hulk, I just basically want, I just want to see more hints that they are the same person. Like, because the thing with the Hulk, when it's just being portrayed,
they're not the Hulk.
Yeah, but the thing when the Hulk's just angry and rage is the Hulk could be anyone. Like, anyone could be that person. Like,
oh yeah, but
I want to see a bit of Bruce Banner appear in the Hulk. Like, I want the Hulk. I want the idea that the Hulk can access the mind of Bruce Banner. Like, the Hulk knows what Banner knows in some ways. Like,
he has never been able to do that, really, because they are separate entities. They're two minds stuck in the same transforming body. It's like Etrigan and whoever Etrigan was put inside in DC. It's like Venom and Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's the same as that, because Venom and Spider-Man, it's like the symbiote in Spider-Man. Maybe I get, like,
well, Venom is a symbiote.
Yeah, but Venom's the symbiote when it's possessing. Oh wait, no.
But no, because the Venom's been it's also
people.
been called Venom when the symbiote's possessed other things. Yeah,
yeah. Just
Venom is that specific symbiote. In the same way, Carnage and Toxin are other symbiotes.
Isn't Carnage always the same person though, or is it someone different?
No, he's possessed. He's been on different people.
Because I always thought
Toxin who's always the same person.
Because I always thought with the reason with Carnage,
he can't change.
With the reason that Carnage is the way that Carnage is because it's in the mind of a serial killer, or that kind of thing. Is that
well?
Or is that
yes and no. They get more insane the crazier they breed.
So that's okay. I get that, because I do get Venom, because Venom is basically the same thing, even when it's possessing completely different people.
He not necessarily. He does change a bit depending on who's possessing, depending on who he's bonded to, because there's that influence of a different brain in there. Even if Venom tends to try to override it.
See, that's what I want the Hulk to be. I want to see the Hulk. I want the idea that there is a reason, like there is. I want the idea that Banner isn't just I want the idea. I can't explain what I want.
I don't know what you want either. That's the problem. We're very lost now.
I basically want the idea. Want to see the idea. I want to see that the Hulk being part of Banner. Like, I want to see them actually be a part of each other and not just like different people. Like,
that only happens in very small parts of continuity.
Like, there are moments with Bruce Banner where you do see him being able to access. There's a moment in the first Avengers where he uses that rage inside of him because he's which explains later because he's always angry, and he uses that to basically scare Black Widow into showing what she would do to him, like, because he wanted to see what she was planning, because he knew she was doing.
I don't know if that was channeling the Hulk's rage as much as he was just messing with her to figure it out. I don't think he necessarily had to be angry to do that part, and he definitely didn't have to call on Hulk's anger for that.
The only reason,
because it's his anger that triggers Hulk.
The only reason I say there's
Hulk's just always angry.
The only reason I think there's a part of Hulk in that is because if you listen to his voice when he says the stop lying to me thing, there's a kind of, he sounds like that again when he's in the transformation of Hulk. Like, the bit on the helicarrier.
I think that was just him dropping his voice a little.
I don't know. It could be that, but I don't know.
You don't want it to be that.
It was only recently I actually came to that conclusion. No conclusion. I just thought, wouldn't that be kind of a cool idea that that for that brief moment, he called on the Hulk just not to transform into the Hulk, not to become the Hulk, but just to scare her, just to intimidate her. Like,
I don't quite buy that.
I just want the idea that the Hulk and Bruce Banner can use each other a little bit more than just be one or another. Rather than just be Banner be like, okay, I'm angry now, Hulk.
That ruins the theme of that kind of ruins the theme of them being Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
But I don't know. The thing is, I don't really like that kind of idea.
Well, then look for a different character who isn't that idea, because that's what the Hulk is.
That's only.
You're probably thinking more of like Thing.
No, but it depends on the media, as you said, because there's different ways the Hulk's been. Like,
yeah, but most of the time when they're in control, it's just Bruce Banner. There is no Hulk.
Yeah, but there's been times.
The idea you're specifically looking for, where they are one merged entity who just changes form, has never been the concept.
I'm not saying that concept. I'm saying more. While it is the Hulk as himself, there's still Banner inside. There's still Bruce Banner deep inside. Like this comes from.
You're just describing the idea of him being Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde now.
There's the animated show, Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Like,
never seen it.
In that show, Hulk is basically Hulk the entire time. Like, he doesn't really turn back often. And there's a good reason for that. There's a moment where it is the Hulk, and he's refusing to change back. And then you get, like, this thing, like, going on inside his head. The Hulk and Bruce Banner are, like, talking to each other, like, from across, like, there's a wall, like, blocking them.
That seems an awful lot like a media liberal, because that doesn't necessarily happen.
I'm not saying
they can't necessarily communicate, or they can't feel on each other's thoughts like you want them to.
I'm not saying. I'm saying that's more like a visualization. Like, I'm just.
Yeah, I understand the idea. I understand what you're saying, Jacob,
yeah.
But that's not what the Hulk represents or does.
But
that's not a Bruce Banner or a Hulk thing. That's just not what their character is about.
I feel like it can be, though. I feel like it. No, they should be.
I'm against. No, I don't feel like that should be, because they're based on the idea of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and that kind of goes against it for them to be more of a merged entity.
But I think the whole Jekyll and Hyde thing was basically more the concept of the origins of Hulk. I think because the thing with the Jekyll and Hyde story is that's always like the experiment goes wrong, he turns into this thing and goes back and forth. It's never.
Yeah.
You never really see that story played out over a few years. You always just see that happen. Like its experiment goes wrong.
The Hulk is that story played out over a few years. It's Banner and the Hulk trying to wrestle each other for control.
But as it goes along, and they've been a part of each other for so long, they should slowly, that kind of thing I feel like should happen, where we should slowly see an idea that they can.
If you're with somebody for a long time, you can start to try and predict what they're thinking, but you're not going to be able to sense their thoughts or be a part of them like that.
I honestly like the idea.
Because there's no actual link between their minds other than the fact they share the same body.
What about this? The reason the Hulk...
Because to give you an example, when Professor X can mentally talk to Bruce Banner, and he can't sense the Hulk. But when he tries to touch the Hulk's mind, there's no Banner in there. They're separate minds. Or they don't kind of slowly come together.
I don't think it's separate minds. I just think there's one that's more powerful and there's another one. I think...
That sounds like separate minds.
In Age of Ultron, at the end of the movie, Hulk runs away.
I feel like we could argue this for years, and you just wouldn't be satisfied because that's just not how the Hulk works.
But he does. At the end of Age of Ultron, Hulk runs away. Hulk gets in that jet and he drives away. But is that just the Hulk?
Because he got attacked.
But why does the Hulk want to do that? Why would the Hulk think that he needs to get away?
Because the Hulk also cares about Black Widow.
But why? He doesn't... Like...
Why? Because maybe Black Widow's the only one that doesn't treat him like a monster.
Are we saying that Hulk...
Even the other Avengers kind of kept their distance from Hulk. And yes, Hulk is allowed to have romantic feelings. It does happen.
I mean... Are we saying that Hulk and Banner both share the same feelings?
Well, what it is, when the Hulk was created, he was created kind of off of Banner's mindset, so it makes sense that he would end up liking the same things that Bruce does.
So you're saying that you see Hulk as like, it was one mind that became two, kind of thing?
No, it was one mind that another mind was created based off of. It wasn't a split like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It was more like they ended up that way. Like the Hulk was created inside Banner's body. And because it was inside his body, it was based off his preferences. So it makes sense that they would follow the same attractions and dislikes. Okay. Example, they both hate Ross. But for different reasons. Banner hates Ross for trying to make a weapon out of the Hulk. The Hulk hates Ross because he shoots at him.
So would you... And... Like, when the Hulk's finished being the Hulk and becomes Banner, does Banner know that stuff? Does he know what he did as Hulk? Does he know that kind of stuff?
He has flashbacks, he has brief glimpses, and that's about it.
So he has the memories of the Hulk? Or...
No, he doesn't. Otherwise he'd be able to remember. He has guesses and flashes of what happened.
So he has some sort of knowledge of what he did, but it's not a complete... It's not like a memory.
He couldn't tell you exactly what happened.
It's like remembering...
Because don't forget, in Avengers of Ultron, he had to ask him, so what exactly did I do down there?
It's like remembering a bad dream. You know, like like you don't remember, people never really remember the entire dream, but they always have those moments that stick out to them. Right?
Except for him, it's less vivid than that even.
So do you think that's...
Jamie?
So... Could that be like, it's Bruce Banner. It's one guy, he does this experiment, and then there's another personality inside him. Kind of.
Another entity.
This entity is a rage-filled monster that has aspects of him inside it.
Yes.
But from that moment on, like, it's completely two entities.
It's its own thing, because at one point they have been separated multiple times from each other.
So it's two entities. So it's one mind with and then like another mind.
It's one body.
It's one mind, one body with like a twisted, with like a changed personality kind of thing. So like,
yes, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
But basically, my original point was basically I want the longer that Hulk exists, I want to just see Hulk get not smarter, but just less animal-like, maybe. I just want to see.
Never. That doesn't really happen. He's always angry.
Like, I don't know. Like, he gets angry, but I wouldn't say that though, because
you want to see him become civilized. It's not going to happen.
I don't want to see civilized Hulk. I don't want to see Hulk in a suit, walking around, speaking polite. But like when the Avengers are doing their things and they're all doing their things, I don't necessarily want him to like be cracking one-liners with them all. But I want to know that he can communicate with them. He knows that, like. I want an idea that he's not just the mindless dog that they released, and that he is a member of the team, like he does.
Well, obviously he does. He already is, because he can follow instructions, and he understands what they're saying.
That's true. Like Captain America tells him to smash, he smashes. But you can tell a dog. The
thing is that the angrier he gets, the harder it is for him to understand what's going on, because he just gets lost in his rage.
But the thing is, You could tell a dog to attack, and it would do that. It would know to do that. But then that doesn't.
Yes.
But then you and the dog don't have perfect communication. Just because you can say
no, the Hulk doesn't necessarily have perfect communication with people.
I basically want to see Hulk I want to see him not necessarily evolve a full step, but just
he's not ever going to be able to truly fit in, Jamie. That's the thing with the Hulk.
I don't want to see him fit in. I just want to see him I basically just want to know that he can communicate and understand the people he's with.
We already know that he can do that. You're losing me here on what exactly it is you're trying to achieve.
I want a talking Hulk. I want Hulk, not sentences, but not just phrases, just general words.
He's done that.
Yeah, but not enough. He said one word in Avengers, and he said nothing in Age of Ultron.
He said 2 words in Avengers.
No, he just said puny god. What else did he say?
That's 2 words!
Oh, I meant one line, basically.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
I get it confused.
I understand.
I mean, hell, in an Incredible Hulk movie, he said... Basically, I'm saying this. We're getting... The rumour is, and I don't even think it is a rumour, I think it's basically been said, that Hulk's going to be in the new Thor movie. I think this has been...
Okay.
I think this has been said in interviews and stuff like that.
I didn't even know there was going to be a new Thor movie.
Ragnarok. They announced it.
Okay.
It's like people knowing that Bucky Barnes is Winter Soldier. The people, if you look for it, you can find it. But if you want to be surprised, then you can sit back and be surprised.
Well, maybe we shouldn't talk about it then.
Probably, yeah. But I'm just saying...
And also, it's time to say goodbye to people before we just start going in circles again.
I'm hot and red. Maybe I'm becoming Red Hulk.
That would be... Actually, his name's Rolk.
Is it? God damn it. It is.
Yep.
It is in some ways, isn't it? And bloody hell.
Alright. Well, thanks everyone for listening. We hope you enjoyed Jamie's Rage and somehow understood what he meant, because I had no idea. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you all next season.